In 1940, as nations battled each other, Lonnie and I found joy again with the birth of our daughter, Thelma Frances, on April 10. She was perfect in every way and gave us hope in these trying times of war and bloodshed. Death touched too many that were close to us, but all I had to do was to look at this precious new being and my joy was renewed. 2 years later, in 1942, my heart was heavy as Ronald, my brave brother, enlisted in the army. I couldn't help but fear for his safety. But Ronald was always courageous, believing it was his duty to serve his country. However, the heartaches of war weren't confined to the battlefields. In July of 1944, I faced one of the most painful moments of my life when my son, Lonnie Edward, was born and passed away after only 3 short days. I felt an emptiness that words could hardly describe, but I tried to be strong for my family. Heartbroken, and unable to get up from the bed yet, we had a small makeshift funeral for him in my bedroom. Curiosity getting the best of them, I saw little Mabel and Quincy peeking through the window. We buried Lonnie in Slaughters Creek Cemetery alongside Lonnie's brother Quincy, who died in 1929 at the age of 23. Lonnie built a little box with a glass front to put decorations in to keep them fresh. I would take roses that we grew and dip them in wax and put them in the cabinet, and in later years we would put memorial wreaths in it. Memorial Day was very special to both of us. Every year we would load up the car, or truck in later years, with loads of wreaths and flowers. We would buy as many wreaths as our money would allow and pick tons of roses from our house that we would lay on the graves. I would pack sandwiches and drinks and we would go to cemeteries, even those hard to get to. We never missed Decoration Day, as Lonnie called it. It shows that the love of family, alive or past, was at the top of Lonnie and my thinking. Most often than not, we would meet other family members doing the same thing and it became something like a reunion. Then, in the summer of 1945, news arrived that the U.S. had dropped atomic bombs on Japan. I can't even imagine the thought of such a terrible weapon. I definitely had mixed feelings about its use. Both ashamed of the devastation it caused those poor people, and glad that it might bring our weary soldiers home from that awful war. The world held its breath as the devastating impact of those bombs resonated across continents. I prayed for peace, for an end to the war that had taken so much from so many. Fortunately, my prayer was answered. Ronald returned from the army later that year, on September 27. His safe return was one of the happiest days of my life. I hugged him tightly, grateful that he had made it home.